Son of a monkey's left aim.
All right. On the first part, we had a hate comment.
What do you mean, a hate comment?
Well, this person...
Indulge me.
This person named Trinity Loren last week said on our first video...
Trinity Loren also sounds like an SJW's fake name. My real name is really like Bobbery. But I go by Trinity Loren.
But before we get to that, we're taking steps back, but also going forward.
What?
We have our new display.
Damn, that's a hot cow.
This person actually wrote a couple of paragraphs on a YouTube comment. So
they were serious.
So he just says, or she.
What's her name? Trinity Loren?
Yeah, okay, I guess it's a girl. So,
Trinity.
What we know about Larry Elder so far. He hasn't shown his taxes, just like his master, Trump.
What does taxes have to do with doing a good job as governor?
He is racist.
He's black.
See his comments about blacks and Mexicans.
He is black.
He has zero knowledge about running anything. He wants to lift the mask, I think she meant to say mask, and vaccine mandates to make the state like Florida and Texas.
You mean good states?
He is a gunslinger druggie.
What?
He has no respect for women.
Good.
Well, he has all the S in one bag. Now, this is what he says, or she says about Gavin Newsom. Despite 1.5 of the pandemic, California has a $28 billion surplus. California has the second lower COVID-19 rate in the nation.
That's not true.
Over 80% of Californians have been vaccinated. Vote no to the recall, as the one-dimensional, closed-minded, ignorant Trump supporters are trying to pee all over California.
Well, maybe if we peed in California, it'd put out the fires that are always going on. Basically, California is run by a retard, and they like it.
I jotted down some notes about the mask and vaccine mandate thing that this person's like, because clearly that takes up like half of this person's comment, is the difference in COVID control. So I did a little bit of research and some math problems regarding this. What I found that I wrote on this torn piece of paper, so I wouldn't forget it.
Not to mention a lot of billionaires live, this person would probably also be like, we also got to eat the rich. Probably. Even though the main reason why it has that surplus is just because a lot of billionaires live in California.
Yeah.
These flies are driving me mad. It's probably because this comment's making the room stank.
So this led me down a little rabbit hole on research when it comes to COVID stuff regarding California, Florida, and Texas, because that's kind of like the trifecta. Nobody talks about New York.
New York's just gone.
Yeah, forget New York. California, total cases recorded based on its population makes up 11% of its population. For Texas, the amount of cases they've had based on their population, because the population of California is 39.5 million, Texas is 29 million, and Florida is 21.48 million people. 12% of the population of Texas have had coronavirus.
So it's like 1% more?
Yes.
It doesn't even say anything about deaths, it's just cases.
Yeah, and then I wrote down deaths. We'll get to that in a second. Florida is 15% of the population have had coronavirus cases. Okay, now, death percentage of their population, California is 0.16%. Texas is 0.2%. And Florida is 0.21%. Very close. Florida, for the elderly population, 4 million people, okay? 4 million out of their 21.5 million citizens are elderly. California, out of its near 40 million population, their elderly population only makes up 6.1 million.
So, makes you wonder.
And
some more young people are getting sick in California. But young people shouldn't be able to get sick because, Californians are unhealthy slobs!
And then in Florida, though, the adult obesity rate is 27% in Florida and 26% in California. Based on its population, it has significantly more elderly and obese people than California does.
Yeah, it has barely more cases.
Yes.
So basically, they're all almost exactly the same, but because of like 1 to like 3%, the Californians are going around like, we actually have like the best situation. Now, here's a more important question. How many people have died in general in California? Like, not even related to COVID.
Oh, yeah.
How many people have their jobs still in California?
Texas has an even higher obesity rate. I didn't even mention Texas. Texas has a 34% obesity rate.
So, you know, people always go after Florida for being like the worst with the obesity and stuff.
So wait, okay, the difference in COVID cases
big Texas grills
between Texas and California is extremely small.
You know, it's almost as if no matter who your governor is, you're going to get the same result involving COVID.
The results are almost identical. And actually, with the amount of obesity and elderly in Florida and Texas should be much worse.
It looks like we're going to need Gavin Newsom to stay as governor, because it looks like to get a give or take 1% difference, everybody's going to have to wear a mask, give up their job, and get the jab. Get the Johnson & Johnson one, too. That's the one that makes your heart do crazy things. This isn't COVID misinformation. This is just me rambling.
Yeah, in Texas, with a 3.65 million elderly population out of 29 million people.
The whole pretending like, oh, well, if we get the right governor in charge, the virus that's just in the air can totally be controlled. The whole God Savior governor mentality, like, they can save us from the plague. It's like, the only reason to pick your governor is based on like your job and stuff like that. They aren't going to be able to control a virus, you morons.
As far as mask mandates versus no mask mandates, when you just do the math problem and look at the rates and the actual differences in these states, there's almost no difference whatsoever.
Yeah. Here's the thing, all the things that make Florida and Texas worse has nothing to do with the governors. It's the individuals that are allowing themselves to be obese and unhealthy. I'm not going to pretend like Texas has like, well, their obese people are better than the other ones. It's like, no, that's their fault for being overweight. But it's like, at the same time, that has nothing to do with the governor doesn't mandate obesity.
Yeah.
So everything that's worse about Texas and Florida has nothing to do with the governor. Whereas everything that's wrong with California is almost completely because of the governor. We need the vaccine mandate, because unless I have needles sticking out of my arms, how am I supposed to be safe from the deadly disease known as COVID-19? You're going to leave a comment. Please do not be an idiot while you do so. Think with your brain, then turn off your computer and go outside.
Yeah, the difference is barely any, but it should be a big difference because of obesity and elderly rates.
Is this when we do the Trinity Loren roast?
It's called Do Your Math and Research, and don't be a retarded. All right.
Trinity, we already know. You're not just a fag, you're a gay.